MRT Corp will review the overall construction timeline for MRT2, following the government's decision to change the project structure. Initially, Phase 1 of the line was set to be launched by July 2021, while the entire line will be fully operational by July 2022. However, according to CEO Dato' Sri Shahril Mokhtar, the underground works for the project are 39% completed, so the termination and retendering process would be relatively complex. To recap, over the weekend, MOF terminated a contract with the MMC Gamuda Consortium to build MRT2's underground portion and retendered the job out via an international open tender process. This was after the two parties failed to reach an agreement on just how much they can shave off the cost of the project. The news sent shares of Gamuda and MMC Corp nose-diving to multi-year lows, and Bursa suspended the short selling of both counters for the rest of the day. Gamuda was the biggest loser today, down 24% at RM2.43, while MMC Corp tumbled by 16% to RM1.13. Fugitive businessman Low Jho is said to have successfully evaded arrest because moles in the civil service and enforcement agencies are still tipping off members of the former BN administration. Former CEP chairman Tun Daim Zainuddin told Channel News Asia that Low has his people everywhere, using taxpayers' money. Daim adds that this is why Low is able to hire the best lawyers in town, and that the Penangite has spent more than $40 million on legal fees alone. The ex-finance minister cites an incident in July when he was informed of Low and his family's whereabouts at a hotel abroad. However, Low managed to evade capture and vanished within an hour. Daim says the CEP had interviewed over 300 individuals, including bankers and civil servants, as part of its look into government finances. He told CNA these conversations revealed a culture of turning a blind eye to graft, and that people were silent with no backbone and no principled stand. UMNO President Dato' Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi will be questioned by anti-graft officers for a third time on Wednesday. An MACC source confirms that the former Deputy Prime Minister has been asked to turn up at its Putrajaya headquarters at 10 a.m. Zahid himself tweeted about Wednesday's round of questioning and pledged to give his full cooperation to the officers. He also asked his supporters not to protest outside the premises. Zahid was first questioned by anti-graft officers in July over a purported meeting with a Saudi Arabian royal family member who is said to have donated 2.6 billion ringgit to then Prime Minister Dato' Sri Najib Razak. He was grilled the next day over the alleged misuse of 800,000 ringgit from a family-run fund to settle his and his wife's credit card bills. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng says the Ministry of Finance is definitely not on an austerity mode as Putrajaya prepares for Budget 2019 to be tabled on November 2nd. Lim says what Putrajaya is calling for is not austerity but smarter spending. He explains that the government will not be pursuing fiscal consolidation at all costs and that it also aims to drive Malaysia's long-term development. Lim adds that the government will be supportive of a private sector-led economic growth, as only this will enable Malaysia to achieve its ambition of becoming a high-income economy. The MOF expects Malaysia's current account to remain in surplus this year and not suffer from a twin deficit, that is, a fiscal deficit and a current account deficit. Lim says with the reintroduction of the SST in September, import growth will moderate and improve the balances in the short term. Last year, Malaysia recorded a current account surplus of 3% to GDP. In the first half of 2018, the balance stood at 2.7% to GDP, or 18.9 billion ringgit. Economic Affairs Minister Dato' Sri Mohammad Azmin Ali says Khazanah National hasn't discussed appointing a foreigner to its board. Azmin was appointed to Khazanah's board in July. He says the board did discuss having strong representation and a professional team familiar with the issues to run and manage it. But there was no discussion about hiring a foreign national. The Star recently reported that foreigners may be appointed to the board as part of the group's strategy to tap into diverse expertise. Citing sources, it said one of these appointments could be that of a Chinese national who is the founder of one of China's largest AI firms. This firm, it reported, also happens to have the backing of Alibaba. As for whether there will be changes in Khazanah's investment mandate, Azmin says it will be looking to segregate its investments into strategic development programs and commercial investments. He says some strategic development programs need to be sped up in terms of research and development and green investments.